All right, welcome to another broadcast of the High Net Worth Investors Guide. And today we have a very dynamic person in the studio. His name is Bakari Jombar. And if you don't know this name, believe me, you are missing out. Why? Because Bakari is a U.S. Marine veteran, all right, who served
Hoorah.
as the highest level in the Army, all right. He has over 20 years experience in the U.S. Marine. But above all of this, Jabbar is also a seasoned and a well-experienced entrepreneur. He has multiple six-figure businesses. Now, one of the business that you will learn about today is life insurance. You will also learn about another operation that he has, which is also titled Sky Legacy Financial Services. And I want to say this. In talking with Bakari, I learned that he is, like us, a humanitarian. One of the things that he mentioned that he looks at, or his company looks at, is budget and planning. And I do believe that everybody need a budget. You need to plan. He also talks about retirement plans. All right. I do believe if you're living, having an early retirement plan is a no brainer. And his organization really focus a lot on these issues. And last but not least, he also look at college fund. But this is only a tip of the iceberg. The man before you, Bakari Jumbar, is a very dynamic personality. So without further delay, I want to welcome you. Uh,
Thank you.
just before, I must also recognize my two other colleagues, which is Peter and Paul. Bakari is a giant in his own space. So
Mhm.
these guys say, "Hey, me alone can't do this interview." So
No,
everybody wants to Jabari, right?
it's not
Bakari.
safe for you to be alone with him.
Okay. So, my friend, I'm going to open up the floor to you. Give us a short introduction of yourself, and then we'll do a break, and then we'll come and do that deep dive into who Bakari is. Go ahead, my friend. Give us a short intro of yourself.
Gary, thank you for the opportunity. Paul, Peter, thank all three of you gentlemen for the opportunity to come on and share who I am. I am Bakar Jambor. I'm a native of New York, Rochester, New York, specifically upstate New York. I'm a retired Marine Corps veteran. I served for a total of 20 years. And while I was in, before I retired, I was assigned a financial advisor that gave me financial information that when I implemented it, it helped to transform my life. Having been one to come from the inner city, not having the knowledge of wisdom or understanding as it relates to financial strategies that will help me to be able to create and to transfer wealth, that individual shared that information with me. And when I applied it, it put me in a position for me to be able to retire at the age of 39 years old. I followed the exact financial blueprint that he gave me, and it literally transformed my life. I retired in 2015. And for those who are my mathematicians out there, you know that's 8 years. So with that being said, not having been employed after I retired, and it's because of me economically empowering myself to be able to live the lifestyle that I live. So, with that being said, what I've chosen to do is to help other individuals to be able to do likewise, because I see, as we see today, how the economy is going. If you're not financially stable, you're financially unstable, then unfortunately your life will be in a financially dilapidated state, which causes other problems in people's lives. So I believe that, if you're financially well, at least in this aspect, you have financial peace. Okay. And it will in turn empower you to be able to have good health and to be able to have access to better health care, medical care, dental care. So with that being said, I see the problem in society today, and I just wanted to be one that can help to resolve those problems. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak.
All right. Thanks again, my friend. And again, I want to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to be with us today. So there you had
Welcome.
it, public. I know wherever you're viewing this program from across the world, I want to encourage you to call a friend and tell a friend that Bakari Jombor is here and he's going to be giving you some groundbreaking information to up level your financial intelligence and position you to come into your financial greatness. So we'll take a short commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to start with Paul. I'm going to give Paul an opportunity to ask the first question to the great man in the house, the U.S. Marine veteran. We'll be right back.
Investor's Guide, where art meets science. Explore tools, processes, and systems that empower you to accelerate your journey to a seven-figure business. Smart funding solutions for 6 and 7-figure enterprises. Harness capital for multiple income streams. Master the art and science of debt mitigation to build wealth faster. Experience comprehensive business support to propel your success at a budget that suits you. The High Net Worth Investor's Guide is tools business with 10X Branding and Marketing LLC. Our expert team specializes in enhancing your brand's visibility and connecting you with your ideal clients. We employ strategies that increase reach, leaving a lasting impact and driving client conversion. Trust and credibility are vital in businesses and excel in building them even with a limited budget. Our cost-effective approaches ensure you get the best results without overspending. Ready to boost your business cash flow? Contact us at 332-235-T99 and let 10X Branding and Marketing LLC guide you to success. Our focus is on elevating your visibility, which directly translates to growth. Experience the power of effective branding and marketing with us and witness your business thrive. Portal Summit. Are you a rising star in business academia, public speaking, sports, law, medicine, or an influencer? Becoming a best-selling author can open doors to connect with top figures in various fields. Discover how the Bestseller Portal team can assist you. 1. Assisting clients in the creation, refinement, design, and publication of their books, biographies, and autobiographies. 2. Strategizing and executing promotional campaigns while navigating global markets and linguistic diversity to enhance the visibility of your literary works. 3. Nurturing our clients' transformation into esteemed public speakers and influential thought leaders. 4. Elevating your books into dynamic digital learning content. 5. Cultivating multiple streams of income from your literary works and beyond. Enroll today for the prestigious Bestseller Portal Annual Summit and position yourself as an eminent authority and trailblazer within your chosen sphere.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so Mr. Bakari, I want to welcome you once again. And Paul,
Thank you.
I want to give you the opportunity of asking Mr. Bakari.
All right. Well, I made these questions up 2 or 3 days ago when you asked us to put these together, and I've been waiting to ask these questions. I got 2 that I can't do without, and 1 that I cannot not ask you first. All right.
Okay.
Why did you name your business Sky Legacy Financial Services? There seems like there would be a meaning behind Sky Legacy.
Absolutely. We're talking about a higher level of financial education, and most people say what reach to the sky, meaning you're dealing with a higher level, a higher limit. So I believe that higher education financially will give you a higher consciousness financially and will help you to be able to have a lifestyle, that will put you in a position where you're able to live a wealthy life. And we focus on family. So we understand that generational wealth cannot continue in the family without the financial education, that higher financial education, like when we're dealing with trust, okay, we're dealing with how to properly run a business credit, business funding, things of that nature. So to me, that's a higher level of education that will help you to catapult to go to that higher height and also leave that legacy to your family for generational wealth to continue.
Wow. Okay. Here's what I took from that. Then I'm going to throw the next question to Peter. So, Sky Legacy Financial Services is a one-stop shop for everything good, everything to empower you to
Mhm.
leave your wealth, create it, and then
Mhm.
leave it correctly, structured legally. I mean, you're a one-stop shop for everything. Is that right, Bakari?
Yes, now I have to be clear, we don't actually personally do everything ourselves. However, we believe in networking. And
Mhm.
so what we do is find out your need. And cooperative economics, as we know, is a better fit. So everybody can do their part. So I stay in my lane, and I have other individuals that can help families to establish their estate planning, to be able to get their trust, their wills, their power of attorney, which is incorporated with the actual estate planning, and to be able to help you to come up with a financial plan for you to be able to invest, right? And to be able to leave that legacy via life insurance. So, those are the things that we do to just simply capsulate it so people get a better understanding of what we can help them with.
Well, that is still a one-stop shop. You're a one-stop shop for information, resources, direction, guidance, life insurance, all of that. And I love it. I knew there was a meaning behind it. I never asked you before. I met
It's
you on the
okay.
Clubhouse app 8 months ago, maybe 10 months
Yes,
ago,
that's
something
correct.
like that. And I think I told you, Gary and Peter, this. I said, man, when I heard him talk, out of the whole room of people who are talking, I said, I got to talk to this guy. I got to talk to him. So it was a pleasure meeting with you, knowing you,
Likewise, Paul.
pleasure
Thank you.
knowing you. And that's a question that I've thought about before, but I've never asked you. What's the meaning behind it? So thank you for explaining that.
You're
That's deep.
welcome, and thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was definitely a powerful question. Paul, Peter, the ball is in your court.
And it's interesting that Paul asked that question in regards to Bakari's business name, because what I was interested in is actually his personal name. Bakari Jambor is it's not a regular name.
American.
My
It's
interest
regular.
went
Come on.
there immediately. I was
The
wondering.
only one in America. The only one in America, my
Yes,
friend.
yes, yes. I saw that. I saw that. Very unique.
Yes, the only one in
And
America.
so my mind went to right there when I saw your name. What's the story behind your name?
Sure.
Does the words, does it have a meaning? And how do you facilitate that in your life overall?
Sure. My first name, Bakari, is just a traditional name. It doesn't, but my last name is actually a warrior name from the Mende tribe. My ancestors are Mende, on my grandmother's side, uh, comes from Sierra Leone. And so once I found out my actual ethnic group, what I did was I took upon the name of my ancestors. I was named by actually my elders over in Sierra Leone, specifically the Bellevue village. And one of our elders over there, along with the paramount chief, his name is Chief Emmanuel, Chief Mansoray Fode, and my elder brother, Emmanuel Sese. They helped me to be able to connect with our elders over in Africa and Sierra Leone for me to actually get a traditional Mende name. Jambor was actually a warrior, over in the Sierra Leone area who had fought against colonization. And additionally, that name means to mix, to bring together, you know. So that's what my name means. It's to bring
Mhm,
together.
mhm, mhm. And
Great question.
definitely mhm.
Go ahead, Peter. Go
And
ahead.
I was just seeing how that does play out, as Paul was mentioning that Sky Legacy is that one-stop shop, that mixing, that bringing together an entity or opportunities that simplifies people's process in how they're going to navigate their way. So that is quite
Mhm.
interesting, and I can see the connection right there.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's so many facets to. That's the reason why I didn't say, because anybody knows anything about the financial industry, it's not the end all be all. Because with when you're dealing with the financial industry, there's multiple aspects to the financial industry because you have investing, right? You have the trading side, right? You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with the financial arena, it's too broad to say, okay, you could come to me for everything. That's the reason why, I had to make that correction because, we don't deal with every single aspect of the financial industry. That's just not what we do. You have mortgages, you have people in that arena. So we don't do everything.
Right.
All right, I'm happy that you would have also explained that the financial sector is a very dynamic field.
Yes,
And
definitely.
yes, it's trading and finance. It's very broad, and it's very broad because, we look at stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and it's taking the time to really understand this in terms of building up your financial
Hmm.
intelligence. So I'm happy that you
Absolutely.
would have said that, while you have the connection with critical stakeholders to support your platform of ensuring that people get the information and they're able to act on the information to better their lives financially. But the question that I have for you, the first question that I have for you is I would like you to tell us a little bit about your life
Hmm.
as a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. What was
Hmm.
that experience like for you?
Challenging. Very, very much so challenging. Um, when they say that you earned the title Marine, you literally earned that title. It was not given. I really earned that title. I put in the work for me to be able to graduate boot camp and to be able to march across the parade deck and to receive the title United States Marine. And with that being said, the Marine Corps, we have the Marine Corps values, honor, courage, and commitment. And they stood by that. They brought out leadership in me. They put me out in the front. And so I'm eternally grateful for what I learned while I was in, as it relates to all of the above. Teaching me how to be able to manage people, how to counsel, how to lead by example. So that's what I'm grateful for. Those are the things that I learned because I have to give honor and credit to my elders in my family because they were the ones who prepared me for that task. So the Marine Corps has pretty much polished me up even more. But I had already went in there prepared because of my elders in my family that taught me how to be responsible. I had a job when I was 15 years old. I was given chores. I had to pay, on bills to teach me how to be responsible. So I'm grateful for that as well.
And I must also say, myself, Paul, Peter, we talk about this a lot. I do believe that anyone that comes through, or most people that comes through that type of discipline, military background, with a crossover to business, they achieve exceptional success. All right, and we'll talk about that just now. But just before I go any further, I'm going to pass to Paul. Paul, your next question.
Thank you. Well, two questions in one. What was your first business, and can anybody do it?
First business actually was a networking business, and no, everybody can't do it. Because everybody is not a people person.
Got you.
Everybody don't have the proper social skills, right? So,
Mhm.
hopefully that answers your question.
It does. Going a little bit deeper onto that, whether it's a net, can anybody go? I think my personal opinion is no on this. Can anybody go into business? Technically,
No,
yes. No, you don't think so? Okay,
no.
tell me why.
Well, because I'm a person that I'm spiritual, and I'm going to explain here. I'm a spiritualpreneur. Okay, everybody's destiny is not to be a CEO of a business, and here's the reason why. When you're dealing with the animal kingdom, let's deal with the queen bee. You have the queen bee, you have the worker bees. So when you're dealing with business, everybody cannot be the queen bee because where would be the worker bees? Where would be the person that run the cashier? Where would be the person that does the stocking? Where would be the person that would drive the trucks? So everybody has their role in this earth to do their particular part so that business can be ran appropriately. And that's the reason why I stand on that.
I love that. That's outstanding, and that's one of the best examples I've ever heard. I agree with
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, but that's one of the best ways to outline it. Thank you, Bakari.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a great question and definitely a great response.
Mhm.
And
Thank you, Gary.
and that's precisely why the career like that. You know, not everyone can be the queen bee.
Hmm.
But of course, earlier we spoke about the corporate culture because I know part of your vision is to ensure that the workforce doesn't feel excluded from wealth acquisition.
That's
It doesn't
correct.
feel excluded from, being able to enjoy a better quality of life. And so, perhaps not today, but at the right time, the next we will talk about, how the corporate culture that is necessary to ensure that, you know, every division of leadership within the organization, meaning strategic, tactical, and operational, can experience, joy and happiness and excitement from doing what they're doing. But I love your response,
Thank you.
Peter.
Brother Peter, are you on mute?
Peter, you're mute.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So the
We
question
probably
that I
missed the
want
best
to
part of
ask,
it.
I felt your passion
you
though, Brother
know,
Peter.
Yeah. Woo! Coming through.
yeah, the question that I want to follow up with as well, and then I want to make a statement in terms of whether everybody can succeed as an entrepreneur. We mentioned this earlier, but the question that I want to ask, because I've known of individuals and I've come across individuals who have been in the Marine, the Army, served in the forces, but a lot fall away by the side. But you
Hmm.
succeed. So even the training, and I heard you mention that you have to earn your way to become
Mm-hmm.
to succeed, to
Mm-hmm.
wear that honor as a Marine, someone in the Marine. I had a close friend of mine several years ago, and he was a Marine, very
Mm-hmm.
disciplined, very disciplined. I saw that somebody that I admire just the way how he stand and the way how he maintained himself. But what I did find with him that he could not, he retired,
Mm-hmm.
but he was not able to maintain real life. And so
Mm. Mm-hmm.
when life became challenging, he re-enlisted. He went right back. And
Hmm.
then there are others who still did not make it that far. There are many, we understand that there are many who are suffering across the society right now. So the question is, what is the difference? What is the difference between someone like yourself? You walk the same path, you
Mm-hmm.
shoulder to shoulder, you cross over. Yet I'm sure if you do a survey of many of those individuals that you served with, they did not make it to where
Mm-hmm.
you are. What could you say is the difference that why some people make it and some didn't?
Well, it's not just one reason behind that. For me, it's destiny.
Hmm.
And again, I will never remove myself from the spiritual aspect about life because I fully understand that everybody has a purpose in his life. Everybody has their own life path. And one may feel like that was a failure, but the truth of the matter is it aligned him or her with their destiny. There is no mistakes when it comes to the divine purpose of your life. We may think that because we're not cognizant as it relates to what direction our life actually is going to go in. For instance, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I didn't know that. You know, so as my life went on, it unfolded to me that this is my purpose. But at the time when I retired, I didn't know I was going to be a real estate investor. I didn't know I was going to be, a life insurance advisor in the e-commerce space. In other words, a serial entrepreneur. I did not know that. So with that being said, sometimes some things happen in life so we can actually align with our purpose. And let the truth be told, what we always desire is not always our destiny. I'll leave it at that.
And I appreciate that answer so much and you're right, because how do we say what success is? How do we really put a face on success? Moses being in the wilderness, was he a failure? Or was he being prepared for another dimension in his life? And just before I return to Gary, when you mentioned about everyone not being if everyone was supposed to be an entrepreneur, then where would be the person that is going to assist the entrepreneur to carry out his responsibility? And over the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking as well that the mindset is also important. The mindset. So even though an individual may not wear the hat of an entrepreneur, meaning that he is the one who is actually at the helm of the business, but his personal life has to be managed in a certain way in order for there to be an alignment is with what in going back to what you said there, for us to find that alignment. And I think one of the challenges that I see in our community today is that people are having challenges falling into alignment, understanding their place, understanding that even though I'm in this situation right now, it might not seem like the ideal, but if I still respect it for what it is, there's so much lessons that they can pull out of that quote unquote failure that prepare them to the next several stages that they're about to enter. So thank you for that answer.
You're welcome, Peter.
All right, thanks for that question and answer. The next question I want to pose to you, Bakari, is I would love to know more about your life as an entrepreneur. Um, you're not managing one business, but you're
Correct.
into real estate. You're also into life insurance
That's correct.
and so much more. Can you help us to understand what life is like as a person who is managing multiple six-figure businesses?
Challenging. As much as we would like to think that it's easy, people, they see your glory, but they don't know your story. Being a serial entrepreneur sounds sexy, don't it? It sounds real sexy.
Wow.
But there's a lot that goes into it. As my beautiful wife says, it's more than a notion, and there has been some challenges that we have been confronted with. Honestly, the COVID actually came, and we've been very blessed, for us to be able to stand the test of time and to still be here today to be able to serve our clients and our customers. So with that being said, you have to have, and one of the leadership traits that we have is endurance. That means that you're fatigued, but you don't give up. And so what we come to find is there's been some times that we got weary in well doing. But we all know the verse, with those who know the verse, but in due season, if you faint not, you will receive the reward. So with that being said, we learned that we had to keep going, because we knew that if we quit, we would forfeit our blessings. And we recognized that winners are not quitters. So we knew that in order for us to win, we couldn't
you
give
have
up.
to persevere. Love that. Love that.
Wow.
Paul.
That was a great answer. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Incredible. Okay.
Appreciate you, Brother Paul. Man,
Now,
I'm
why
a
life?
bunch of church people.
Hey, that's what we are. It's a good
We
thing
got
I
Paul,
told you
Peter.
fit in.
And we got everybody ready for the gates.
I told them
Well,
that you'd fit in, and I told you
but
they'd
we're
fit
the
in with
one.
you.
One thing, you church people, we're the one that's going to transform that community, one people at a
That's
time.
right. That's right.
All right. So, Bakari, why life insurance? I know the answer because you told me the story.
Yes.
Why life insurance?
Thank you, Paul, for that question.
Yeah.
You guys have to give me a moment, because this is a very, very sensitive topic, because my Baba passed away. And unfortunately, at the time, he didn't have the resources. He didn't have the life insurance. And so my wife and I, we literally had to come out of our pocket. And as you all know, we're investors, and there's no write-off for a funeral. And so we literally took some of our life savings and had to bury our father appropriately. And shortly after that, a couple years later, it was a good friend of ours who wanted to join the team and to be able to help others. And while she was in the process of trying to do that, she transitioned. Could you imagine that? And this is a true story. She was joining the life insurance team, our team. She literally paid her fee, was getting ready to start, and she was getting ready to try to get a life insurance for herself. And while she was in the midst of doing that, she transitioned. And then one of her relatives, who knew she was a part of our team, solicited to us for funds. I got tired, Brother Paul, of seeing the GoFundMes, man. I really did. And honestly, I really got tired of the generational lack. I got tired of the generational broke. And to be frank with you, it's more to it than just life insurance. Because if the heir is not financially educated and disciplined, generational lack and broke will still continue in the family. So it was impressed upon my heart for me to help individuals not only get a course in the power of life insurance, because it is a wealth creating, transferring tool if the heir is financially educated and disciplined and implements what they know. And the heir thereafter does the same. So I knew that this was a inexpensive wealth creating tool for families to be able to end generational lack and broke.
I talk off the top of my head, Bakari. That was deep, and I know it's hard to talk about, and I'm sorry. What I'm thinking off the top of my head is there needs to be 1 million of you, because what you have to do is talk to one person at a time and say this to them. Seeing it on these platforms, they're going to hear it and get it, but talking to you specifically about everything that you do and can refer them to, and writing a policy for life insurance so they don't have to come out of pocket or put a GoFundMe up. Because when you put a GoFundMe up, what if it doesn't fund for 30 days? That's sad. You know what I mean? So
That's
thank you
so
for
true.
what you do.
You're welcome.
And you are a humanitarian. You sent that to me in a text, saying that to me, that thank you for what you do for humanity. That was so nice. But I'm going to say the same thing right back to you. Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. And thank you. I appreciate
Right
that.
Right.
I just want to follow up on the insurance because I love that you were inspired to get into this field because a loved
Yes.
one, someone close to you, would have passed on, but they just didn't have the the financial safety net to get a
Yeah.
proper, sending off.
That's right.
But tell me something, yeah, and I really love that. I mean, again, I can see you're a humanitarian, and I'm truly impressed with that. Because most people they do things just for the money, not necessarily for empowering the lives of other people.
So
But
true.
as you look at insurance, um, from what you're saying, is this life insurance? Because there's a perception that life insurance you only benefit from it after, but you don't benefit from it. All right. Most people are saying your relatives benefit from that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, you
can
go, you
you
ain't benefiting nothing while you
expand
go.
on that part of it a little bit for us? Because I know there's so many angles to insurance today. You know,
Mhm.
there are insurance where you are alive and you're getting benefit, and you also get benefit. Your family get the benefit when you would have passed on. Can you just shine a little bit on that for us?
Sure, and just want to make one slight correction. The family actually can benefit it from it too while you're alive, and it's called cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance has two particular policies that you can actually accumulate wealth with. One is called a whole life policy, where you had Nelson Nash, who was the one who actually started. He was actually a life insurance advisor. Many people don't know that. And he actually was the one who started the cash value life insurance policy, and it's called the be your own bank concept, which means that you fund these policies to the point where you're able to leverage the monies in the policy to be able to invest the money. So you can create passive and create residual income. Okay, residual is compounding interest. Residual comes from when you got stocks, okay, and you get the interest from these stocks, okay. So you're able to get monies. You put enough money into these stocks, and to the point where, like Warren Buffett, who's a multi-billionaire, to where he's able to literally live off of just his residual, because he has so many shares in these companies, to where he has residual income coming in, which comes from investments like that. And then you have that compounding interest, where you're putting your money into it. With the whole life policy, you're getting dividends from these policies, and pretty much your money is growing tax free. Let me add that. Now, according to tax code, for those who are in the United States of America, according to tax code 7702A, okay, it's called a modified endowment contract that falls under that tax code, which means that the government, okay, will not tax you as long as you don't go over that certain dollar amount. So you have a policy that's also called a index universal life policy, where you get a high interest bearing savings account that is tax free, where you're able to put your money into that account, and then it grows annually by whatever percentage rate that particular mutual company insurance company gives you. Now, the mutual is very important because that means that you have a share. You're a shareholder in that company. You actually own that policy. You don't want to rent it like a rental property. You put all your money into it, but it'll never be yours. So, you want to get with these mutual insurance companies where you are a shareholder in that company. You own a piece of that company, and you're able to get a benefit from that company. Now, the dividend, and the interest is pretty much that company rewarding you as a business partner. You're not just a client, you are a business partner. And they're simply saying, we're going to share some of our resources with you. So we're going to give you this dividend, or we're going to give you this interest rate. And we're just saying thank you to you for doing business with us as a business partner.
Well, I love that. Just before I come to Peter, one of the things also with insurance is that you're borrowing against your premium. All right. You're borrowing against your money. All
That's
right.
right.
And there's where you're becoming your own bank.
That's
And
right.
there's so much more. We have so much to talk about here.
Oh, well, yes, we do. A wealth of it. Wealth of it, my friend.
We got velocity banking here also, but we're not going to go into it now. But
Go ahead, talk about it. Talk about it, brother Gary.
All right. No, I'm going to be. We can't give all of it right now, right? We're gonna pull you back in the next time, right? We're not gonna give all of it.
You won't fall for it. It's okay. I try to pull it out you, man.
Peter, on to you.
Yeah, and indeed, because just to follow up on this question concerning the life insurance and the
Yes.
importance of life insurance, like so many other financial instruments, the greater portion of the community is totally illiterate when it comes to these understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, how can we, and I guess, what can we do at this point to really bring about this kind of education? And I hear you speak with a Christian background, to your language, especially this community. How can we empower people to understand the necessity for us to become more savvy when it comes to insurance? Because the wrong
Mm-hmm.
concept is already the number one thing that most people have. Insurance is just for, when you die, you have something to pay your final expense without understanding the value, the rich value. So
Mm-hmm.
let me frame the question like this. What is it that you are doing now, to
Mm-hmm.
educate, your community so far?
Okay, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Sky Legacy Financial Services LLC, which is pretty much our business. And every week, twice a week, on Mondays and Thursdays, depending on what happens throughout the business week, those are the days I normally post the content in regards to financial education. So what I do is I elaborate on these policies from our YouTube channel, which I have a plethora of content there that I believe that will be of some interest to those of you who would like to learn more about it, and it's for free. And I did that intentionally. So I do the nonprofit contributions. I actually get invited on platforms such as yours, and I go on there and I share this information. So that's exactly what I do. I publicize this information so I can have these thought-provoking dialogues with the community to get them to start thinking about, okay, do I have life insurance? Because we don't want to leave our family a burden. We want to leave our family a blessing. So with that being said, any individual who loves their family member, I challenge you on this. I challenge you with this question. Once you leave here, will your family be financially, economically empowered to be able to still run the family once you're gone as a breadwinner? And if that question is no, then you got some work to do. It's time for you to get a policy. And it's not me. I don't sell life insurance. Let me be clear. I present families with the opportunity for them to create and to transfer wealth.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Love that.
You're
Love
welcome.
that.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes. The next question I want to pose to you, my friend, is how did your experience as a U.S. Marine Corps veteran help you in your life of business? How did that experience really help to catapult you to where you are today?
Wonderful. Thank you for that question. It taught me discipline. It taught me how to be a leader, because as a company executive officer, you know, you're in a position of leadership. And if you're not running your business appropriately, and if you're not choosing the right business partners, let me be clear about that too, because the wrong business partner will cause your business to go wrong. So with that being said, as the person in my leadership position at my rank, I literally had to evaluate my Marines for promotion. And it's called a non-rec or rec. So we had to do a non-rec or rec report within a certain period to say whether or not we recommended he or she to be promoted. And so what it helped me to do is to be a good judgment, a person of good judgment of character. And so, as we all know, good help is certainly hard to find. So with that being said, you know, it taught me how to be very selective in the individuals that I partner with in business. Hopefully that answers your question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And what I love about what you're saying, one of the things that we look at in business and project management and all of these different things is you may have the abundance of people, but to manage a process successfully is not only about the people, it's about having the right people on your team. And I think that's what I take away from what you said. So I really love that. Um, Paul?
May I add to, before we go on, also what I've skipped over was a solid work ethic.
Mm,
Because you have to put in the work to make it work,
definitely.
right?
Mhm.
And being that I'm on a panel full of believers, I'm getting ready to go in.
Preach,
Do
brother.
it.
I'm getting ready to go in. I promise I won't preach. I won't preach long.
Do it.
You know, the verse says, "Faith without works is dead."
Yes.
And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those of us who are spiritual entrepreneurs, you know, the Most High, as Bishop T.D. Jakes said, well, He will give you the tree, but you have to make a table out of the tree.
Right.
You know, so I feel like that sometimes people, they just totally rely on their prayers, but to forget that the work part, faith without works. So unfortunately, some people dreams and some people visions never come to fruition
Bakari,
because they forget the work part.
you're opening up a can of worm here, man. Don't open up because if Peter get vexed, it's a whole can of worm gonna open up here, right?
I had to put it
Peter's
in,
gonna
man,
let
you know, for
loose.
my spiritual people too. You know, they can say affirmation after affirmation, you know, but
It don't work.
without the execution, you know, I always say this: it's education. I call it the triple E effect, the triple E method, and it's education, execution, and eradication. Education, you learn how to create and transfer wealth. The execution is you apply it. And when it's not learning, people say learning is earning. No, it's not. That's not true, because people know what they're supposed to be doing, but they don't do nothing with what they know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So learning is not earning. You learn, you apply, then you earn. So that's the execution part. And then the eradication part is because of what you executed, what you know. Now poverty is non-existent in your life.
You see, and all of this is taught from the book also. And let me just reference two parts that represents all of what you said. The first part, I provide for the birds and the fishes in the sea, and he can provide for you. That's one part. And that's the part that they, believe it. He provide for the birds and fishes, and he will provide for me. But there's another part. Seek, and you shall find. And
Not.
that's all about application, right? Good. That part of it is what we don't get. You don't get a whole lot. So I love it.
That's right.
Peter,
You got to knock.
Peter,
When you don't knock, that
you
door
got to
not going
knock
to
on
be
the door
open,
shall
man.
be open. Knocking is application part, right? I
That's
love
it.
that.
You can stand there
Peter,
and hit the air all day long. Why they not coming to the door? Because you're not knocking, brother.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, I have
Yeah.
the land flow with milk and honey here, man, but they're just not knocking. They're not flying.
That's right.
Love
Moses,
it, love
what do
it.
you have in your hand, Moses? The staff. Well, work that thing.
Mhm.
Work it
Work
then,
that
Moses.
thing.
What?
Mhm.
I give seed to the sower.
Right.
So if you don't,
Right.
I give you the seed, but you're the one that has to cultivate the earth. Why are you looking for a
Yes.
harvest and you didn't plant no seed?
Right.
Wow.
I'm gonna leave it alone,
Right.
man.
Oh, this is driving it home.
I'm,
This
I'm
is
gonna leave it
awesome.
alone, man. You're looking for a harvest and you didn't plant no seed.
You see, it's
And he
working.
gave he
You bring
gave
another
you,
preacher in you. You see, it's
yeah, man.
working,
He gave you
Gary.
the seed. He gave you the
These
seed.
guys
What
said
is
they
the
want to bring out the other side in you.
yes, man? Like he gave you the seed, but the seed is the idea. The seed is the
Yeah.
idea. I've given you a vision, I've given you the dream, I've given you the seed. Now, what are you gonna do with it? And that's where so many people unfortunately hit the grave and never see their dreams and their visions come to fruition because the seed
Mhm.
was given, they didn't cultivate it.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
They didn't cultivate it. They didn't do the digging, they didn't do the planting. You understand? And then some folk they get impatient. They don't want to wait for the harvest to grow so they can glean from it, and they end up, abandoning their blessing because I expect for it to become wrapped and packaged and pre-made. That's not how it works. That's not how marriage works. You may be predestined to be with that man or that woman, but a marriage is not pre-made. You have to put in the work to make it to be something that is beautiful. I'm gonna leave it alone, man.
This is the best
And
interview I've
that's a
ever done.
continuous
The mic is hot. The mic is hot.
so, but Gary, it's working. These guys say they're going to come together. They're going to, really bring out the side of you that they really want to see. And it's working because they got your mic hot. Paul, Peter,
And
it's all
this
to
is
you.
important. Yeah, and I was just about to say that this is very important. We're here on the high net worth investors guide, and the whole reason for business, entrepreneurship, corporate management, fiscal management, all of these things, there is a purpose behind all of this. It is about life. It is about the preservation of life, and there is a gentle balance. There is a gentle balance between making money and preserving life. There is a gentle balance between, because if using the principle that we're talking about, the law of the seed, it is that there has to be a process. There has to be a process by which tomorrow there is continuity. The end of it, the problem is, and we, Gary and I, have had this conversation to so much, where we have corporations that are set up and the end result is for the existence or the corporate entity. There becomes a destabilization then when the corporate entity does not serve the purpose for the continuity of life. And those are the imbalances that we see now, even where what is happening in our world. And this is the next thing now that we're looking at. How do we steer our way back to bring individuals on target, whereby we do understand that yes, we have to make the money. We have to make the money, because even where the Christian community is concerned, one of the problems that I see, Christians, they teach that money is the root of all evil. I know pastors who they do not want to have anything to do with money, and they will do everything for free. And what I realize, there has to come to an understanding. There has to come to a sense of responsibility for people to understand that money is important, and without it, where things are gonna fall apart. But at the same time, we cannot treat it as if it is everything, it is the end all, and we pursue it at the detriment or at the expense of somebody else. How do we strike that balance? How do and I think the Christian community need to understand this. How do we strike that gentle balance in understanding that money, the role of money, is vital, but we cannot esteem it to the detriment of the society, where profit at all expense. We destroy the planet. We suck the life out of the planet for the sake of capital. How do we strike that balance?
With all thy getting, get understanding. And I believe that it's the misinterpretation of the verse. When it says that money is the root to all evil, when you look at why somebody would murder, rob, steal, kill, they'll do that for money. So money is the root to all types of evil. It motivates people to do all types of wicked things, but money itself is not evil.
Right.
You can only use it to do the wrong thing. It's like a gun. A gun is not evil. A gun doesn't rob, steal, kill. It's a human. It's a person
Right.
that handles the gun wrongly. But then when you have somebody who has the gun and they use it with wisdom, they protect themselves, they protect their family members, right? They defend. Now they're using it in the correct way. So it's how you use it that makes it wicked. It's not the material itself, because the material itself, logically speaking, has no power to do right or wrong. Right? The human does. So you have to break that off of your mind and comprehend that the scripture says that we have been given the power to get wealth. Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. You understand? So it's the misinterpretation of the script. So we have to rid ourselves of the misinterpretation of that and to understand that we have been given the power, and we have to understand that we have been divinely given the power to do that, and we have to believe that. But where does the power come from? Information.
Right.
Faith cometh by hearing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to believe and understand that I want you to be prosperous. Did we not see how blessed that King Solomon was? Did we not see how blessed that King David was? Did we not see how blessed he was to the point where when they came and seen how lavish his lifestyle was, it says they would have fainted. They fainted.
You
So
know,
so 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 one has to understand then if those things are so wicked, then doesn't the scripture say that in every gate there's a pearl? Doesn't it say that the streets are made of gold?
Mhm.
Do you understand? So prosperity is our portion. Abundance is our portion. And once we comprehend that and understand that, then we'll start walking in it once we get a better understanding.
yeah. Um, yes, myself and Peter, we have this conversation, this type of conversation so often. And one of the things that we look at, the carry, is that when we study our Creator and we look at the things that He has created, He created the heavens and the earth, He created the moon, the sky, and He created all of us. Can we think one thing that He has created that represents lack? That represents
Mhm.
lack. Everything that He has created exists in abundance. But guess what? Most of us, because we misinterpret the teaching, live in lack. I don't think this is our intention. I don't think it's our design to live in lack. So I love when you said what you said, and there's so much more work that has to be done to correct the misinterpretation of what the book is actually saying about wealth.
Yes, yes. And you say, give and it shall be given unto you.
Unto
Good
you,
measure,
exactly.
pressed down, shaken together, what? Running over.
Over.
The Most High is your
And just
shepherd,
before Paul,
and you shall not want. He
Hmm.
make you to lie down in green pasture. He leads you beside the still water. He restore your soul. The green
right,
pastures, that's
Right.
prosperity. When the
You
sheep
there.
they graze, when the lambs they graze in the green pasture, they get fed. That's their sustenance. I shall anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over.
Run it over.
Goodness and
Surely
mercy shall
goodness
follow
and
me
shall
all
follow
the
me
days of
all
my
the
life.
days of my
Come
life.
on, man.
yeah, yeah. And I
Awesome.
like the point that you mentioned about the right relationship with whatever it is, because anything at all can become a danger. And I like to even look at as good as oxygen is, and we all need oxygen for us to live. But if I have a wrong relationship with oxygen, if I put a gas mask on my face and I pump too much oxygen in my face, even the very oxygen can cause me to suffocate to death.
Hmm.
Mm,
So it is the right balance that is necessary. And I think that's a part of, the purpose and the mission that, have been over the past several months that have been impressed upon me is to get especially our community to understand the right balance, because if we can get our community, if we can get to those persons who has the responsibility for the dissemination of the message, the right message, if we can get this community to own, to understand and to own this message on the responsibility where money is concerned, I think a great deal of the problems that we're having in the world can begin to shift when we understand. And the education, a part of what you're doing. This is why I respect this conversation. I respect what Paul is doing. Gear and I have made this partnership in order to that we're going to empower as many persons as possible, and this conversation needs to be expanded, so much more. I really appreciate this so much.
Yes, and I also feel like the people do perish for the lack of knowledge. Because once we understand, no good thing will I withhold for you. No good thing. So that's why I love what you said, man. Unfortunately, people are misled and misfed.
Yeah.
They've been, given, they're eating the wrong thing. Understand? They don't have the right sustenance, and that's what they need is the right education. Because see, some people, they're getting educated, but they're being miseducated, even when it comes to money. Because in our community,
Yeah.
let us keep it real. In our community, we have been programmed via hip hop culture to be materialistic. And a lot of us don't like to deal with that. Where does materialism come from? It's from a program. It's a program. What you have the rappers doing, they got stacks of money and real money at that. And their ego has them throwing money all over the place, but they don't have a college fund for their children. They don't have any life insurance.
Wow.
They're selling you a lie because the vehicles are rented. If anybody has watched, if you haven't, even if you're a Christian, it don't matter. Watch the new edition story if you haven't already. I'm telling you, it's going to open up your eyes, because in the videos, you thought that New Edition was wealthy, but their life story, come to find out, they were broke. After they got off the tour bus, they went right back to the ghetto. So it's too many of us looking like money and don't have money. So what we have to learn how to do is prioritize and understand what's most important. What's the difference between a need and a want? You don't need Gucci. You don't need Louis Vuitton. You need food. You need clothing. You need shelter. You need money.
You need a Chevy instead of a BMW, right?
There it is.
Yeah.
You need and it's so true. You're right, because unfortunately, some people, some banks, unfortunately, some of them, they just make your payment. They just want their money, right? And sometimes people put themselves in excessive debt because they're trying to meet a status quo. And unfortunately, what we do is we measure our self-worth by our net worth. That's where we go wrong. We measure our self-worth by our net worth. And we feel like if I don't have those things, then I'm a nobody. Because society has programmed us to be that way. Because you know what people say to you? Well, who are you? Who you think you are? Oh, he's nobody because he's not on Oprah, or she's not on the Steve Harvey show, or so. So society, unfortunately, has programmed us that if we're not living this so-called lavish life, then we're worthless.
But Kari, you're making a very strong point, and Paul, I love the point that you made earlier on also. I do believe that people can come into a lavish lifestyle, but I think that is a right and wrong way in which you go about doing that. And let me just explain a little bit. I do believe that the average person who is going after the lavish lifestyle, they are doing all of this from their primary source of income, but they're not taught how to do this from residual income sources. So you are not paying for that lavish lifestyle out of pockets. Your assets is doing that for you. Man, we are not getting warm up here, man. We are going to we are not getting warm up here. So there's so much for us to go into over a period of time as we start to amplify the conversation around, wealth acquisition and wealth management and financial intelligence. There's so much for us to talk about. But a question that I want to ask Bakari is, what would you say is your formula for success? What I've learned is that there's no one pathway to success. There's multiple pathways to success, and we need to, learn that and learn it fast. But what is your what would you say is your formula? I know that your Marine Corps experience could be one, but what else would you say is your formula, to success in business?
Well, I would say it's more than one thing, because it's like a cake. It's multiple ingredients to make a cake. So I believe it's the same thing when it relates to being successful in business. It's not just financial education, it's the implementation of it. I always have to say that, because a lot of us say knowledge is power. No, it only empowers you when you apply what you know. So
Preach it, my brother. Go on, say it. I love that.
So, man, I'll tell you the truth, man. Again, it's the education, is having the right business partner. And my wife, what I'm saying, is my business partner in all the businesses. And our daughter is in our e-commerce business. And once we hired her as help, we went to another level in our business, which literally we did twice, 2 times more than what we did before my daughter came on board. And it's not because she's our daughter, it's because she's the right choice. Because of her work ethic, right. She gets it done. And she gets it done right. So why are we successful in business? Because we learned and we applied what we learned, and we learned from the experts. Success leaves clues. So we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just listened to those who are already successful in our specific industry, and we pretty much did our own, tweak it to make it our own. And here we are today. And not only that, I have to admit this, I can't overlook it. It's favor.
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 Yes.
Favor.
Yes.
Because everybody, as Brother Peter so eloquently stated earlier, that some did not make it. And some didn't make it through the COVID. So I will not be pompous to sit up here, it's because of our great business acumen. No.
Yeah.
It's divine. Yeah. It's a combination. It's a combination. It's that with the touch of the divine. It's divine favor. And I had to add that.
Yeah, we can't take him out of the equation at all. We can't take him out of the equation. Paul?
I don't even know what to ask now. I'm just absorbing it all. And I love this is the best interview that I've ever done. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess let me see what I got here.
While you look at what you have, Paul, but Jerry, we did talk about this briefly early on. And we're on today on the High Net Worth Investors Guide. Can you talk a little bit about your net worth? I know many persons may be uncomfortable discussing that, but would you care to talk to us a little bit about your net worth?
Sure, no problem. My wife and I combined, we're in the millions together. By myself, I'm about roughly over about 700, somewhere around there, because of, the properties and the investments and stuff like that, and also, of course, for those who don't know your net worth, it's your clothes, it's your jewelry, it's your liquid assets, which you can turn into money, what you have in your bank account. So for those who are watching and never really knew how you calculate it, it's all of the above: your furniture and jewelry and car and your actual, what you have in your life insurance, because you know a lot of people don't know when you go get a loan from a bank too, you could literally leverage your life insurance. But I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
good.
we gonna
I'm be good.
very soon. We're gonna go into that.
Yeah, you know, so that's a part of it too. So, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
man, you know, I would say, yeah, pushing almost about a million when you look at everything like that. Yeah, about that, close to that.
All right. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Sure, no problem.
I just want to pause a bit for a little bit to talk with the public. But I really trust that the public would have enjoyed today's interview. We have an icon in his own right, Bakari Jambor. He is no ordinary person from the perspective that, coming through the U.S. Marine Corps is not easy. I mean, if you ever watch how these guys train, is only the best of the best. Only the best of the best. All right, is elevated to serve in the Marine Corps, and Jabbar definitely is one of the best of the best. Um, and I love that you would have transferred all of that knowledge into business. What I love even more, my friend, is the fact that you believe in a creator, and you live your life to give service to humanity, and that for me trump all. In talking with you, I don't see any ego. I just see, a person who is filled with so much of knowledge and so much of information, and your life's mission is just to ensure that you can touch and transform the lives of people um, in the U.S. and around the world.
Mhm.
And I want to say hats off to you, kudos to you. We need more people like you who could serve and understand the importance of service,
Mhm.
um, who would have attained a high level of success and still be committed to ensuring that those around you can also experience success too. So I really love that.
All praises, man.
Guys,
I
well,
want to say I give thanks. All praises.
yeah, yeah, my friend, love that. So can we are going to be wrapping up shortly. So Peter Paul, is there any question that you really wanted to ask uh, Bakari Jambor? This is the opportunity to ask that question. Let us see if we can knock him off his feet a little bit here. we coming up, we coming up against the Marine Corps, so let's try hard here.
I don't think this one's going to knock him off his feet
Yeah.
because this is a real simple, easy one. And I just want to add one more thing. It's good that we've balanced this show out a little bit. We got two guys without hair and two guys with hair. So it's finally something's equalized. It's level. The playing field is level. You hairy son of a guns. All right. Well, this is a real simple one, Bakari, because you touched on this earlier, man. How much larger would your net worth be if you started at 19 instead of
Ooh.
39?
I love that question. I will be a multi-millionaire easily.
By my calculations, 5, 6, 10 million. Because
You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Oh,
took you
easily.
8 years to go over a million.
Mhm.
And if you had that much, it would have grown exponentially. So, man, I'm just taking a stab in the dark.
Mhm.
5 to 8, probably
Yes.
10 or 11, probably 10 or 11, but conservatively 5 to 8, in my opinion.
Yes,
my guess.
definitely. No, I totally agree with you, man, because I'm a big believer in real estate, man. I'm a very big component in real estate because a lot of people don't understand when it comes to stocks, you have to have an abundance of stocks in order for you to really accumulate that type of wealth. And unless you start really getting into, doing stock options, dealing with the paper assets piece about things. You can get into the hefty amounts when you start dealing with that. But yeah, man, when it comes to those assets, man, assets is where it's at because I don't know of a billionaire or a multimillionaire outside of entertainment, okay, that has not accumulated their wealth in the business industry without having real estate. Warren Buffett has real estate. Robert Kiyosaki has real estate. Robert W. Smith has real estate. You know, Mr. Peebles, his name escaped me the first one. Please excuse me, but he's a very wealthy guy too. I believe he's a billionaire as well, and he also does real estate. So that's again, success leaves clues. So yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Very cool.
other Very soon we're going to develop a program, and we will talk, Bakari, because real estate is something that we want to do that deep dive into. Myself, Peter, and some of my other close colleagues, we talk a lot about real estate, and I would say real estate is what saved my life. All right,
Mm-hmm.
because being your own boss, you don't have a knock on and knock off time, although you have control over it. But when you're working hard to make your vision real, it really pushes you out there. It really takes everything out of you. But get it into real estate, invest in real estate also is one of the things that has helped me to, amass a level of security, not only for self, but for family, that really
Mm-hmm.
puts you in that fair degree of comfort zone. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Man, we got a lot of talking to do. A lot of talking to do. But we're going to talk. Peter, your last comments before we wrap up.
Yeah, what I want to before I ask Bakari the question that
Mhm.
the final question, what I want also to communicate to our community in terms of what success is, right? So success, what we're talking about here is success in the area of business, entrepreneurship, finance. How does an individual move from zero in the bank account, and how do they climb to the first 1,000, the first 10,000, 100,000, all the way up? There is a trajectory that must be followed. And what we're communicating to the audience or listening audience, the High Net Worth Investors Guide, what we're doing is to bring a community of individuals who will be able to share their story, share their expertise in getting individuals to understand what is the next step. And so we're bringing Bakari here to speak to our community because he has attained, or he has used his discipline that he has attained from the military. And what his story was is that when he was leaving the military, they assigned to him a financial advisor, and he utilized the information that he received from his financial advisor, implemented it, and was able to set himself in a position where he provided financial well-being for himself and for his family so that he can transition to where he is today. Now, there is another individual who will say, well, he's not Warren Buffett, he's not Elon Musk, he's not Kiyosaki, he's not whatever the big names are, but even the big names had to start somewhere and gradually build over time. And so, this is what we want individuals to understand, even as they're listening to this interview. The inspiration that we want to get across to our community is that there is a level of discipline and a level of understanding that we wish to bring individuals to know and to embrace and to implement, so that day by day, week by week, month by month, you can have that sense of fulfillment within here, that the growth is taking place. I might not be that all the way over there as yet, but at least I am moving forward and I am not what I was before. I just wanted to get the individuals out there to understand this. Next year, this time, we can look back and we can give ourselves a pat on the shoulder to say, look, things are moving better, things are progressing. So the question in that I want to bring to Bakari right now is that our audience is listening and they are not where they
Peter,
want.
Peter, just before you ask the
Mhm,
question, I want to
mhm,
emphasize this based on what you would have just said. What Bakari would have achieved is no ordinary achievement, largely based on the fact that
mhm,
when you assess the average American, over
mhm,
50% of the American population don't have $400 in their savings account. They don't have it. They don't have that emergency backup plan. So what he has been able to accomplish multiple six-figure businesses is no ordinary achievement. So who may want to conceptualize that they have major issues. He, in our eyes, as a serviceman, he's an icon, is a high achiever, and I'm going to leave it as that. It's no ordinary achievement. You cannot go with the question, Peter.
and I'm glad, Gary. I'm glad that you mentioned that because when we're making comparative values, is that it needs a backdrop. High net worth
Yep,
investors
yep.
guide is what we're letting individuals to understand. Is what we're getting individuals to understand. Your success, you are successful in comparison with what? Yes, so I may claim that I am successful in my own rights, but then when we look at the comparative value of it, if I do not have, if I'm not putting in those things in place, for instance, simply the life insurance, if I'm not putting that in place, whereby if whatever should happen today, is my family ready? Is my family, will they be secure? So we have to understand that those things needs to be, and when we see an individual, as Gary highlighted again, who are making those strides, and we're bringing, we're bringing Jabari to hope I'm not, we're bringing, yeah,
Bakari.
Bakari. Let me make sure. You see, your name is quite unusual, so I have to get used to it. I have to get used to it. Right. So we're bringing an individual. We're bringing
No harm, no
Bakari
foul,
here.
brother. No harm, no foul.
I got
We're,
three
we're
friends
all
named
bringing.
Bakari.
We're bringing Bakari here, as an inspiration because there has to be a change, and we're saying that the change starts now. And the question that I'm going to ask, Bakari, is the listening audience. What would you say to that individual now? They don't have the life insurance. They don't have that $400 in the bank, as if there should be any emergency, the least emergency, they would be in trouble. What would
Hmm.
you say to that individual that they should do now? What are the steps, a practical step that they can start today, Saturday, Monday? Go do this Monday morning. What is that thing you would encourage that individual to do?
Okay, budgeting. And the reason why I say that is because even when you're going to a bank, they're looking at your debt to income ratio. Most of us end up in debt because we have more going out than coming in. So, with that being said, you really need to assess where your money is going. Because if you don't know where your money is going, that's a problem. That's problem number one. That means that you really need to start monitoring how you're spending your resources and start weeding out those unnecessary expenditures, okay, that you're doing. This is how I was able to retire at the age of 39. I promise you this. I had to scale down so I can go up. So sometimes you have to, tell yourself no to start hearing those yeses. You know, and what I mean is, even when it comes to your credit, it's going to affect your credit. So what the strategy I'm giving you is not just going to limit you to just being able to have $400 in the bank. It's going to position you to turn credit into cash. Okay, it's going to give you access to capital. Okay, I have an investor mindset. Cash flow is what I think about. Okay, if you stop working and you have an IRA, a Roth IRA, I'm just adding to this. I want you to understand, if you have $1 million and you have that saved up, do you not know that if you live a $50,000 lifestyle, do you understand your money will be gone in 20 years? Okay, so you retire at age 60. That means by age 80, your money will be gone. Bakri, what are you talking about? The power of budgeting. This is the reason why budgeting is planning. And it's to help you to establish yourself to have cash flow. If your money doesn't outlive you, that's not cash flow. A currency keeps on flowing. So if your currency is not flowing, that's not currency. That's not cash flow.
I love that, Bakari. We have designed a beautiful program, and we'll talk about this some more, where we talk about budgeting. And one of the things that we emphasize, one of the things that you should do at some point in your life is an income audit, where you're able to assess your income against your expenditure against your balance sheet against your future plans. When you see that your balance sheet cannot support your future plans, we come to some of the things that you talk about: smart investment portfolios. And people need a lot of guidance in terms of identifying what is safe and smart investment portfolios. And as time progresses, we will definitely be calling on your expertise to contribute to what is smart investment portfolios. I know real estate may be at the top, but we'll definitely be looking at some other platforms. Jabari, man, I really say today I learned a lot. We have been talking about how military experience can enhance your leadership skill in business. And I want to say that you are a living, breathing example of what that is. You've taken your knowledge and experience as a Marine Corps veteran, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and you bring all of that discipline and experience and knowledge into business. And what I've seen from that, you don't only have one successful businesses, but you have multiple successful businesses. And that for me is a true testimony of what is possible when you're disciplined, when you're focused, when you're committed to a process of success. The sky is the limit. So again, I want to thank you for taking time out for being with us today. I trust that the audience would have enjoyed your presentation here today. And this is only the first. It's not the end. All right. There's so much more of Bakari that you're going to be experiencing. So do continue to follow our platform for so much more to come. Bakari, just before we leave, I must pass the baton to you. Is there anything that you would like to say that perhaps we did not ask? I want to give you an opportunity to take the floor and give us your last words.
Well, Gary, thank you so much again for your kind words, as well as to Paul and Peter. Thank you all, gentlemen, for your kindness and your courtesy. Phenomenal hosts. Thank you so much for making me feel welcome. I do not. You gentlemen asked me some very wonderful questions, and I personally believe that it'll get the beginner on their way. So again, thank you all for this wonderful opportunity to serve and help others to be able to create and transfer wealth.
All right, thanks again, my friends. Paul, Peter, Again, I want to thank you guys for being and supporting me and taking on this giant of an individual here, Bakari. He's definitely a giant, and I can say this, from what I know, talking with Paul and so forth, there's so much more that we need to understand about Bakari. I mean, because we only cover a lot of surface issues today. Bakari, he can take us into real estate, he can take us into insurance, and we only had a glimpse in terms of what is possible. So he's definitely an individual of depth, and I really trust that the audience would have enjoyed today's program. So, with that being said, I want to encourage the audience again. Look out for our weekly program from Monday to Friday. We have the Cutting Competitive Edge, and don't be surprised, if you see when you see Jabari shows up to talk to us about, a specific area of financial intelligence. So again, keep following us for all updates. Be blessed and do enjoy the weekend. Go ahead.
Gary,
Go
just
ahead.
before you go, just before you go
Bakari
ahead,
want to say
Bakari, go
something.
ahead.
Oh yes, the individual name that I was referring to earlier, I just knew his last name. It's actually Donahue Peebles. Okay, Donahue Peebles. For those who watch the show Donahue, it's spelled the same way. His last name
Okay.
is Peebles. He's a person that I look up to as well as relates to being a man of great business acumen who's also wealthy. That's it. Thank you so much for being able to share that.
All right, go ahead. You're welcome, my friend.
Mhm.
Peter?
Yeah, what I wanted to extend, Jabari, Bakari, what we wanted to extend as well is that Gary and I, we also empower individuals to communicate their message, to tell their story, to do their backstory. And we would love the opportunity to take your backstory to show your where you're coming from over the years to where you are today. So I know Gary will reach out to you where that is concerned, and we will love to
Okay.
take that and really, because it's one thing for somebody to see where you are today,